This woman who hails from Biratnagar has been selling betel since many years. Chinta Devi works round the clock to support her 5-member family, but her everyday earning of 200 rupees is hard to meet the family ends. Similar is the case with this woman who works in the construction site in eastern Nepal. She doesn't know why Women's Day is celebrated, what is its significance, and why the constitution is needed for the empowerment of Nepalese women. This is not the case of these women only. Most of the women residing in rural areas come from poor economic background and struggle for their livelihood, rather than involve in the movement or know its meaning. The question arises whether the government has been able to address the women's issue such as security, employment, health, education, among others. Amidst this situation, the country is observing 100 years of the International Women's Day. The government data shows that the literacy rate of women is 49%, whereas 66% is of men. The proportional representation of women is still lacking at the policy and decision-making levels. The representation of women leaders in the high-level position of the parties they represent is not different than other sectors. The scenario is a bit satisfactory at the Constituent Assembly. Women leaders elected from first-past-the-post and proportional electoral system secure their 33% representation at the Constituent Assembly. Of the total 601 members, 197 are women. Women Constituent Assembly members have formed a Women Caucus and presented their concept paper highlighting the demands to protect the rights of Nepalese women in the new constitution. They have also demanded for the proportional participation of women while appointing president, vice president, ambassadors, cabinet ministers based in inclusiveness. Talking to Focus, Constituent Assembly member from Unified Maoist Dama Kumari Sharma doubted that the women's 51% participation will come as per the demand. However, she is hopeful that the aspiration of Nepalese women for socio-economic change, elimination of violence against women, equality and justice along with security will be addressed in the new constitution. Speaking in the same tone, Nepali Congress Constituent Assembly member Uma Adhikari called the women leaders as well as women from different strata of life to express solidarity and be cautious if their rights was secured. She even challenged to launch women movement if their male counterparts threw their demands in trash. Another Constituent Assembly member from RPP, Pratibha Rana, said the fundamental rights of women should be addressed in word and spirit. Spokesperson at the Constituent Assembly Secretariat, Mukunda Sarma, says the report of 11 thematic committees of the Constituent Assembly has tried to incorporate the women's issue. He says it's now the Constituent Assembly member to discuss consensually and give it a final shape. Though the Constitution gives the women power to craft their future, but its practicality depends on the implementation, and for that, political commitment is the must.
The celebration of Women's Day with the call to ensure equal and justice to women has reached 100 years this time, but the desired change is yet to achieve. It's now the time of political parties to fulfill their promises by making inclusive and gender-friendly constitution on time. With camera person Dilip Thapa Magar and Pragya Ghimire, Nepal Television. Women rights activists have pointed out lack of stern legal provisions for the rise of growing cases of violence against women. Experts say offenders always get a chance to escape without punishment, leading to impunity. In this backdrop, 16 days of international campaign for ending all sorts of violence against women was marked from November the 25th to December the 10th amidst various programs in the country. During the campaign, awareness-raising programs including rallies, dramas, women leadership and empowerment aimed at ending all sorts of violence against women were organized. Women rights leader Geeta Pathak Sangraula said, despite all this activism, the cases of violence against women were growing. Chairperson at the Women Commission, Nain Kala Thapa, lashes out the government for failing to address the women issues. She urges all women organizations to get united and march ahead for securing their rights. The recent data of Women Commission shows that women violence has gone up by 58.54% this year in comparison to the last year. International campaign to end all sorts of violence against women is expected to create equitable and equal society. With camera person Ananta Chalise and Pragya Ghimire, Nepal Television. Alternative energy sources have started gaining popularity worldwide. Not only are the big international companies adopting these practices, but local businesses are using them as well.
We obviously get a lot of wind in Oklahoma.
When Mark Heights decided to build his new Chevrolet dealership in Norman, Oklahoma, he also decided to power it by wind.
Wind energy is a great source to save money and to use what natural resources are out there to save that cash.
The small turbine windmill at Mark Heights was manufactured at Berge Wind Power, a locally owned business at the north end of Norman. Mike Berge produces small turbines for both international and local use.
Good places for wind power are going to be coastal areas because of the strong prevailing winds, and hilly areas. So you have to sort of be smart about where you look for using wind power.
While most of Berge's towers are used for single locations, large turbines can be used to power cities. Horizon Wind Energy has established several wind farms at Blue Canyon north of Lawton. Each large turbine produces enough energy to power up to 700 homes. Parts of these turbines are coming from Texas, California and Brazil. After the foundation has been laid, it only takes 2 days to construct the turbine. Each of these blades are over 120 feet long. When fully constructed, they will stand 30-story high. Oklahoma has the perfect type of terrain needed to operate these large farms. Mark Safer is a climatologist at the National Weather Center.
At the surface, you want winds where they can go over gentle hills where the wind is relatively smooth.
It's not just Oklahoma where wind power is growing. International companies are gradually showing interest in expanding wind energy as well. Pragya Ghimire reporting from Blue Canyon Wind Farm in Oklahoma.